escaping and fleeing the front line, the battlefield, is one of the things which has been mentioned by the Quran, that this should not happen in a battlefield. In a military action and military war, and also in political war and economic war, in anywhere where there is a battlefield, while confronting the enemy, we need to resist and stand up to the enemy. Your determination should overcome the enemy's resolve. Your determination and resolve should overcome that of the enemy. And this will happen, and this is possible. The people are chanting slogans saying, God is great, Khamenei is the leader. In any jihad or battlefield or war, turning back on the enemy and escaping the battlefield, it is forbidden in Islam and as mentioned by Holy Quran. Well, we used the term epic leniency. Some people thought that means we have quitted our ideals and we have given up the ideals of the Islamic establishment. And some enemies used that as a pretext to say and to make the Islamic establishment go back on its principles and give up its principles. These are not true. These are misunderstandings. Epic leniency means artistic maneuvering in order to achieve the goals. It means in any way and in any way possible, one way or another, a person who is following in the footsteps of God, he or she will move forward toward its Islamic objectives. While moving toward Islamic objectives, they should use diverse methods in order to achieve his goals. The leader is reciting Quranic verses. Any move, whether move forward, whether move backward, is just like a battlefield. In any such move, we need to be looking to attain our predetermined objectives. There are objectives in the Islamic establishment. One of these objectives, at any stage, the Islamic system follows one of these objectives in order to reach the perfection point, in order to improve and promote the great Islamic civilization. Every effort should be made to achieve the objective at a certain stage. Of course, defining different phases and stages, it is a phased move. It will be done in a phased move, and there are people who can guide, and intellectuals and people in charge, officials. They have determined these phases and these stages, and then a collective move will begin toward the objective. Everybody should make efforts so that every move at every stage will lead to the attainment of the objective. This is the correct system of moving toward objectives. All activists in the politics arena, this is something which should be remembered by all those who are in the political arena. All those people, you dear Basij activists, also you should bear that in mind. When we say we want to move forward, does that mean that we are actually after wars? And does it mean bellicosity? Does it mean that the Islamic system is going to actually enter to challenge all nations, all the world? Does it mean that? Sometimes we hear some statements that the enemies of the Islamic nation, including the the vicious person in the Middle East, the Israeli regime. The people are chanting death to Israel. They are chanting down with Israel. But they challenge that they say that Iran is a threat to the whole world. No, this is not true. This is a statement by the enemy. This is exactly opposite what is true and what our Islamic principles. Threatening the world, those are threatening the world who are vicious powers, who are only showing wickedness, including the Israeli regime, the fabricated Israeli regime and its supporters. Islam, the Islamic establishment, actually has learned a lesson from the Holy Quran, has learned a lesson from Imam Ali, has learned a lesson from the Prophet Muhammad. That lesson is something else. Justice and kindness, that is the lesson. Imam Ali said, be kind to everybody. Either they're your Islamic brothers, or anyway, he or she might be he is a human being. This is the logic of Islam. Be kind to everybody. We want to serve the whole humanity, all human beings. We want to be kind to everybody, with all humans. We want to be kind to all humans. We want to have friendly relations with all nations, even with the American nation. Although the U.S. government is a hostile government and is an ill-wisher government and is hostile towards the Islamic to Iranian nation and Islam and the Iranian government, but we are not hostile to the American nation. They are like other nations in the world. And what is actually the despotism and hegemonism? This is something which is against the Islamic establishment. Our policies are against and in contradiction with hegemonism and despotism. We are against despotism and hegemonism. We fight hegemonism and despotism. Despotism is a word mentioned in Quran and mentioned to refer to people like Pharaoh and ill-wishers and all despotic groups which have been there throughout history. And despotism has existed up to this day. And the base and the structure of hegemonism and despotism has been the same throughout the history. Of course, they have used different methods and techniques. And today, the despotic system exists, led by the United States of American government. hegemony or despotism, we should get to know the specifications of despotism and hegemony. We need to know in what way they are making activities. Then we will be able to prudently to adjust our behavior vis-a-vis them. We should be prudent. If we are against any imprudent behavior in all areas. We believe in all domains, in all plannings, and in all policy makings, whether collective and public, we need to act with wisdom and prudence. If we do not get to know who the enemy is, who the friend is, if we cannot tell friend and foe, if we do not know who hegemonic powers are, who despots are, how can we will be able to move forward with prudence and wisdom? How can we have correct planning? So we need to get to know them. When it comes to hegemony and despotism, what I'm going to mention, I would like to mention a few points regarding despotism. They are but a few of the features of the despotic system which exists in today's world, and also in many cases those features are the same as what existed in the past. One of the specifications of the despotic system is that despots are self-important and arrogant. Those who are either actually leading the despotic systems, those who are behind despotic systems, or maybe a number of countries, those who are leading this system, when they consider themselves as, they consider that their group is superior to other nations. So when they think that they are the pivots and they believe that they are superior to all others, then this will lead to a dangerous and wrong equation in international relations. The result would be, when they consider themselves as arrogant and self-important, and when they consider themselves as the pivots and superior to others, then what the result will be? Then they reserve the right to interfere in the internal affairs of other countries and in the affairs of other nations. In their ideas, what they consider a value, well, they believe that everybody must succumb to their will and promote the values that they think are values. If somebody is against their values, then they will reserve the right to impose their will on them and put pressure on other nations. This self-importance and arrogance will lead to claims that actually they will claim that they are the superintendents of other nations. They believe that they are the managers of the world. They are the masters of the world. That's what they believe. Some comments have been made by certain American statesmen. They refer to the American government as if the U.S. is the superintendent and is the guardian of all nations. We cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen, let this approach. And as for our region, they talk about our region as if they are the owners of this region. They talk about the Israeli regime as if all